All right. Welcome back. Okay, my studio intention for today is to, and I do this sometimes, but I go back and listen to what I did the previous week or any latest sketches, and sort of decide what I want to do with those. If I need to build out a bit more on the sketch itself, or just start to arrange. So we might get a mix of sketching and arranging here. Well, no, actually, we will get that in today's episode. So let's dive in. I'll show you my screen. And this could also act as a nice little mini exercise for those of you who are still sort of stuck in that space of song arrangement. Let me move my window over here. Song arrangement and just like thinking you just can't get out of the sketching piece to have a complete song arrange. So as you can see here, still very much in the sketch mode. We only got 4 bars of something here. So let's listen to it. Oh yeah, I remember this. Still need to add a reasonable kick. I think I put this in one of my sample packs, but yeah, I'm not feeling this. And this kind of shit happens sometimes. I'm just not feeling it. Like, I don't know, man. Let me just show you what I'm doing on my screen here. Uh, I'm just gonna name these out. But I like the beat. Bass line is cool, but I don't know. Maybe it's my mood today. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we'll leave this as is, but because I like the beat, I'm just gonna go to this thing and save it as something else entirely, right? I'm gonna call this. Oh, there it is. Espinal Groove V2. I don't know what this fucking thing is. This. Copy the following files. Yeah, the audio files. Huh, interesting. Okay. All right. And I also find it interesting now in Logic, it keeps the template name there, which is different. Okay, so what we're going to do, I don't like this sample. Now, hold on. Before I change this out, let's see what I got in there to begin with. Oh yeah, this is like some Fender Rhodes I got this jazz musician to do for me. Also, some of which I've included in previous sample packs. So, and maybe this past one, I just can't remember. Um, it's really cool to do stuff like that. Hire a musician, just tell them to play for half an hour, and you own it outright, and you're all good. Okay, let's go back to my screen here. All right, I'm just gonna delete this clip here. I'm gonna keep the same sample. Also gonna delete the bass, and it's freeing to do stuff like this because I'm into the beat, but I just didn't like the. I don't know. I didn't like how that came together. Yeah, it's this mood of the sample. I just want to do away with entirely. I'm just not in the mood for it right now. So let's see what else we can find. You know what? No, I won't do that. I was just about to say, why don't we just grab something from the season 9 sample pack that I just dropped today, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually doing this episode a day earlier than I usually would. I normally drop this episode on Thursdays, But because I'm traveling and there's a looming Air Canada strike, because I'm traveling to Toronto this weekend for a couple of gigs, I just want to make sure I free up my time tomorrow to be able to deal with that if anything comes up because I'm leaving Friday. All right. Let's go deep in my sample archive. See what I got here. Oh, it's sorted alphabetically. That's why. I want to. When I say go deep, I want to like get into stuff that was like there from like. Should I sample like in 2008, 2009? So. Pretty sure I used that. Just be like. Baby! Ooh, that's dope. I literally just clicked this. Ooh, I forgot about this. You can see 2013 this was sampled. 2013. I like that. And it looks like it already chopped it up. See if this loops. Kind of like that. But let's see if we can get anything out of here. Oh shit. This is an old sample, but don't be a biter. Go sample it, but whatever, you might discover something. I like to hit find samples here, see if I find something different than what I previously chopped up. All right, let's go. Oh, this. I used this already. But there's nothing to stop you from coming back to what you've used before. I used this on some remix back in like 2014. But there's nothing to stop you from coming back and doing something. Because you always hear it a little different. Like this dope. And I might have to change the key of it to match these drums, but let's see. Alright, so let's just play with the key. It's always easy when you're working with the technology we have today. oh, let me just remove the vocals right off the bat. But try not to do that right off the bat because you might find something pretty cool with the way somebody's saying something. So figure out the type of melodic loop you want and then, you know, parse out the pieces you want and or need. All right, let's just keep working and see what we can get. See what I mean? You hear the vocal under there. Get rid of this. Show you what I'm doing. That's the loop. Okay. I feel much better now. So let's record this. It sounds similar to what I did with the remix, but it's not the same. So if I okay, so let's just put it down. Tighten it up a bit. So this needs to be on the 1. I think that second chop is moving a little bit faster. Yeah, this chop here. Moving a little faster, so what is that? Just move the time stretch down by 1 and much tighter. You can see -1. Time stretch on Serato sample is really good. Try one more. Sound better when we remove the drum from it. So you see what I mean? Kept that vocal piece and I was able to get that. That's dope. I like that. And because it's a little slightly out of key, you could shift it, right? That might be more key. Oh, I think it works there. That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So now that that's occurred, um, we got enough here to. I can either choose to half arrange this a little, add other elements, but for now, I just want to focus on the other elements, making sure everything works together with the way I've chopped this, and we can go from there. So let's move this over. So this is going to act as my filtered bass here. I'm just going to do it now. All I want from this part of the sample, or this copy of the sample, is the bass. I'm going to call it filtered bass. My bad. Because I could hear the bass line underneath there. It sounds dope as fuck. So we need to take it out of here. So that, if you remember, I think it was forget the episode. And if you're new here and you're just kind of wanting to get to certain episodes, just search up Daniel Dub. That's Dub with 2 B's. And we there's a part in that video where we talk about getting rid of all the conflicting bass frequencies in a main sample and just stemming things out and just putting them on a separate line. Because there used to be a time where I would leave the drum on top of the main loop because I just thought that was cool. I'd even do it in a filtered bass. But now, based on what you're going to see here, I keep it completely separate. So you saw that on this strip here, as I load up my bass EQ curve that everyone steals, but it sounds great. This is stock Logic EQ, and this curve is just great for filter basses and electric bass. But anyway, that being said, this copy of the sample is just strictly bass. I have nothing else from the sample in there, and because we're just we've done a carbon copy, I've just taken the same MIDI chop. You just saw me drag that down and copy. So there it is in there. We need a gain stage accordingly. But listen to the clarity of that bass. It sounds like crap on its own, I think. But that sounds dope to me. Then we got choices, right? I definitely want to add the 950 filter to it, because it adds distortion and additional harmonics, and it sounds, and if we limit the audio bandwidth, right? Like we're limiting it to a certain frequency range here. We're going to pull the filter right down. It's going to help that bass smooth out even more. Like, listen to that. And it is gain stage. Yeah, it's not loud. It's minus 6 dB. There's a sweet spot there. Keep that right there. But listen to it off. And then we throw the SPL on it just to smooth out that bass, right? And it's no secret, I start with the preset. This is the low end rock bass. But listen to the bottom on that. That's crazy. You can get more bottom like this. And it just sounds thick right down the center. Even if it says it's basses, or any bass for that matter, really should be about 3 dB below your target headroom, generally, for this style of music. Isn't that incredible? We haven't even done anything crazy for the EQ on that filtered bass, so just note that. It's important. I do it all the time, and it really elevates your filtered bass sound. And the other thing I love about having a carbon copy of Serato Sample this way, and knowing this is dedicated to filtered bass right here, is I could do change up stuff later on over here, knowing that the bass line attached to that chop in the main loop is going to be captured here because it's the same instance. You know, it's just carbon copy of the main loop. So let's just get this down a bit. Funky, all right. So let's gain stage the main loop. It's a little loud. Might have to EQ, address this later, this piercing frequency here, but not urgent now. So we're gain staged. When I see this, that's just mud. Just cut it out. Mix as you go on. Just cut that shit. It hasn't made a material difference or impact the sound. I do want to thicken this up. So let's get our 950 filter out. I also think this filter just sounds nice. I think we can widen the sample a bit with the chorus from Arturia. I like to engage these usually, sync up the rate. Try a noise filter on it. I don't know. You might not need it, but I like to experiment. I'm feeling this beat 10 times more than what we had earlier. It's full of resonance back. Yeah, we don't need a noise filter for this beat. That's a bit harsh. I don't remember. If you watched the last episode, do you remember? Guess we'll find out. Machine is loading up. Yeah. So I didn't program any drums on this one. So I think my next move will be to grab a kick. I think we're in C minor, right? So C minor, cool. Let's deal with the kick right now. Loop cloud. And I like the bass the way it is right now. Like, I don't want to play any bass line because the filter bass is doing its thing. Everything is sitting lovely. No need to, fix what isn't broke. Okay, let's go to edit. Make sure, that's the first thing I always do, is make sure the shit is in keys. So we're in C minor on that loop. Grab my kick. Grab another one. This sounds a little buried. Oh, let's see what we get. that out of it because I want that kick to have some presence, but I don't want it to be. So I'm good with that. Just light, gentle filler skipping kick in there. I want this one to be out in front of everything. So let's see what we get. Yeah, this is better. All right, distortion for sure. If you caught my short reel on YouTube, and that's what brought you here, you're gonna see the exact same technique. I've been doing this forever since Harry Romero showed me this. Because the most I used to do before was just this part, the distortion. I'm gonna go 3.5 dB on the drive, but this is important, 12-bit. If it's not in 12-bit, this is what you get. 8-bit. You just hear some weird stuff in there. Maybe I gotta solo it out. Yeah. You want the 12-bit. That's what most of the great machines back in the 90s were built in, 12-bit. Then you grab your Pultec. There we go. A little attenuation. Let's check the gain stage on this kick. It's a little hot from the Pultec. I think I'm gonna add some attack to this kick in this region right here. You should be able to hear that difference. It sounds a bit more round and filled out. Yeah, so I definitely need to program some drums. It's just a matter of which drums I want to use. Let's stick with machine. Maximize that sound. Let's see if we find a snare from one of our sample packs. Let's go to season 6. Oh, there's no snares in there. I did in season 7. Beat breaks. Drum sounds from my. Oh, this is from my tracks. Oh, this snare. Oh, it's a loop. Oh, yeah, it's a straight loop. It's not a hit. Okay, where are the drum hits? I could have swore I had some sample packs. Yeah, here we go. Snares. This is season 4. Okay, let's use, I like this one. Okay, we gotta go low latency. Okay, record a simple. This is my ghost note finger right here. This is what I'm gonna record. more natural feeling, that's for sure. So we're gonna record that. A little off the grid. Actually, I'm gonna record something different. Hold up. Yeah, I like this. And I like that I recorded it with the bass line just to get a feel of the groove. Let's tighten up what we just programmed here for the snare. I'll show you my screen. So I've said this before and I'll continue saying it many times after. I usually quantize the 2 and 4 and leave everything in between wherever it falls on the grid. It just feels better. Might as well add a clap while we're here. Alright, let's add the clap. Might have to program, or we're gonna have to tune that clap, but let's find a different clap sound. Wonder if I can try and tune this clap. Way too low, but I like the texture of it. We're gonna pitch it up. I like those natural sounding claps. That's alright. Oh, I like the stereo width on this. Let's tune it up and see. That's cool. Let's see if we can thicken it up by having another clap behind it. It sounds like it's another person. I'm just gonna paint this in right there. Right now it's that clap bass sound, but we'll get a clap there. Sometimes I go back, I just go to the same clap and I'll tune it different. Keep looking. I like this one. Almost sounds like a snap and a clap on top. So yeah, that works for me. Let's get an open hat to layer on top of the one we got. Trusty 909. This layer. I want to shorten it a bit. Let me go here. Oh, I like it. See this like stereo information in this open hat? Like it's slightly delayed on the right side. I just love shit like that. But I want to make it sound a little more, yeah, like a little less sustained. I like that. So let's start EQing some of these additional instruments. On the open hat. Okay, let's work with the snare first. We got our distortion on the snare. Get our full tech on it. Very similar to the kick. Got to gain stage this. That's why it's going over the meter. Pull that down. And then let's put a Pro Q4 on that. Pro Q4. There it is. Now, right now, it's going through the stereo bus, this snare. Well, all of the machine parts are going through the stereo bus. But, you know, depending on what's going on and based on what I'm hearing here, I might push the snare right to the stereo bus as opposed to going through the drum bus. So let's shave out the low end here. Generally up to 100 hertz is good. Oh, we also need to thicken up the snare with our drum bus, our snare bus rather. Hear the difference? I think we can go a bit more aggressive on the slope here. Don't need the stuff in here. The low end stuff, the snare. Like almost getting away with like almost 200 hertz. Low cut. I like let's try it on the stereo bus. See how it's. Yeah, it's just breathing more in the stereo bus. I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, let's go over to the open hat. Gain stage it up. Low cut. We don't need to boost this at all, because remember we got another open hat that's there, right there. We're just layering it. So we definitely need to sidechain this beat break. Let our kick just take over. So let's get track spacer out. And find our kick. There it is. And we want a fast attack and a fast release. Just broaden it a little bit. Track spacer on the bass since we're here. Fast attack, fast release. We just want it to affect the bass frequency. Lots of harmonics in this bass line. Here's the kick. We just want it to duck down in this area. So let's see what we get. There we go. So this needs track spacer too. That percussion. Let's do our clap. Gain stage that down. We only keep what we need. Let's give this a little punch. The second clap. Just so that it's different than the first clap. So I think that's good. So that's a DJ sneak. Now that I hear that, I know this is a DJ sneak. Forget what song he used this on. Pretty sure this is from one of his sample packs. Oh, what's the song? And I'd also say probably a little Chris Simmons in there too. If I'm trying to remember the song, it's some old Phil Weeks remix they did. Yeah, I've heard that before. Anyway, that's good. I'll keep it in there as like an ode. Let me just clean that up while we're here. We got that low piece. And we need to sidechain that too. Make sure the kick cuts through that. It had a lot of low frequency information in there. Yeah, kick needs to go here too. That's better. What is this? Wow, I was wondering if I'm using this as a kick before. No, I cut it. Okay. So let's just have the side chain going there. Get that additional insurance. Get a shaker and tambourine. Close the sketch out. I'll look for a vocal another time. Start with a shaker. So we're in C minor already. I love when these kind of things happen. I like this is perfect. Perfectly. And here's how we're gonna chop it up. So let's close these out. Better save this. So I like the way it has that bounce at the end of it. Like that part. So we're just going to keep, we're going to loop the main part of this. Let's cut it in half. I don't know. I'm debating here to, to have it, where's my drawing? Yeah. To have it do that kick up thing, do it in this area here. Yeah, I think that'll keep it interesting. So we do that there. So it keeps it interesting, and it's not just, becoming super predictable. It keeps it fresh, and we'll do the half part of that same loop to fill in the spaces when that's not happening. So let's listen. Just like that. Let's listen to that against the kick and some beat breaks. I think it works. Yeah, let's add this. Like how that sounds. All right, it's coming together lovely. I like this beat 10 times better than what we had before. So let's set this up to record this chord hit. So we got meters for it. Let's arm it to record. All right, and low latency mode. Let's go. The ASM has got a really nice velocity touch. So the harder you press the key, you hear the change in the sound. So I like that. So we did that here a little bit. So really at this point, I feel like I got everything we need. Only need maybe a vocal, not maybe, definitely needs a vocal. But I'm cool. I don't feel like arranging this now, so we'll save that sketch. That was nice. That turned out nice. And there's a few things inside of that. Like I've already used that sample before, like I said, for another remix. I think it's called Did You Know? Forget who the artist was. It's like back in 2015. But I heard the chop or piece of the chop that I use when we were figuring this one out, and it was nice to find that variation on it. And we shifted the key a bit, went to C minor as opposed to C sharp minor. So it's cool. All right, let's let me save this. What's the other one? Oh, these song names, man. What the fuck is good pussy? Oh shit. Okay. So let's watch this boot up here. It's my Zoom. Had a nice coaching discussion with one of our Patreon members, thinking about starting up some vinyl. Good discussion. So I'm always available to do one-on-ones. Just DM me and we'll sort out timelines. Let's listen to this. Oh yeah, this beat I used in a reel I did recently. Ooh, this is some driving shit right here. Yeah. Let's just fuck it. Did I do any drum programming? Oh, it looks like I did. I can tell. I see some processing here. Where's the drum? Where's the snare at? Why is it so laggy? This is laggy. Maybe because it's loading up the sound. Man, that drum is low. Huh, that's weird. I'm gonna leave that at the top. Oh, that's why, because it's going through the drum bus. Probably getting compressed to shit. There's, as I said, there's a time and a place for the drum bus, but I like my snares to be out in front. Most of my mixes, so I just push it right to the stereo bus. tune that snare. What is this? Yeah, let's go here. Oh, there's your favorite snare, Darren. We've got a ride in here and everything. Oh man, this beat is ready to go. The only thing I don't like is the tune of that versus it just sounds a little off to me, so that's better. I just tuned it up a couple of semitones. Alright, let me just double check something here. I think I need to be somewhere, so it might be a half. You might arrange this halfway, but I just need to double check. I think I got a meeting. Just want to confirm. Yeah. So cool. All right. So this will be a half arrangement. Works out perfect because I do need to jump into something else. But I feel like we got all the sounds we need. Okay. Let me just double check our fever snare, which was available in one of our sample packs. You gotta jump on that, man. Ooh. I push that snare to the stereo bus, it sounds. You can actually pull it down a little. Alright, let's check the EQ on the clap here. Get rid of that. Really loving that bouncing tambourine, man. Where is that? There it is. That tambourine is bouncing. Okay, so all of that is good. Let's get track spacer here. Let's just start the simple work and then we'll get to arranging this thing. So there's my kick. Like, you definitely need to be in the habit, if you're dealing with a Fender Rhodes sample, get track spacer on it. Fender Rhodes inevitably has lower frequency stuff, like 9 times out of 10. I can assure you that. Here's our bass line. Track spacer. Just copy that right over. Bass line is super smooth, man. Give me some girth there. So this is our filtered bass. And we're going to do track spacer on the percussion as well. I want that bounce. It's a little loose right now. There we go. Fast attack, fast release. This top loop, we're gonna push it to the tops, our drum bus. See what we get out of it. That sounds better. Let's check the EQ for that. beat break 1. Yeah, so I EQ'd it. Alright, let's check the next beat break. Oh, that beat break sounds nice. Let's push that through the drum bus as well. Dirty it up a bit. I love how that sounds. Track spacer everywhere. Just want to protect your kick and make sure it gets through everything. I like the way that clap sounds. Is it stereo clap? Wow, yeah, it's got stereo information. So we're gonna leave it like that. Let's check the gain stage on it. Yeah, it can bump up a bit more. EQ it, low cut it right there. I really think we could boost it right there a little bit. Just give it a bit more oomph. Punch up the sustain a bit. There we go. So let's check our meters, make sure it's not doing anything crazy. Load up Pro Q4 and see if there's any low frequency information. Even though, as I said, even though you do the low cut at the console 1 level up here, don't be surprised if you need to cut it again, because console 1 just adds color to it, which is great, but just cut it again. Make sure your kick could cut through nicely. Seems like a reverb. Might layer up that clap. Maybe push this one to stereo. Let's listen. Okay, we'll leave that as is. What is this? This is a sound? Alright, let's just see what it's doing frequency-wise. Yeah, so it's all up here. Just double check. That's a weird ass sound. I'll probably use recirculate on that or something. Which reminds me, keep forgetting about this tool sometimes, but it's dope on beat breaks. Articulate. I've done a review of this. I mean, although it's a paid review, it's a great tool. Let's listen to this. You hear what it does to that? It's crazy. Let's solo it out. You'll see what I mean. You just need to put this on your beat breaks, man. This shit is crazy, man. Alright, so we leave that. Let's see what it does to the claps. It's alright, I guess. this conga I chopped up, but it sounds great with the rest of the beat break. So just make sure that's gain staged appropriately. That's good. Okay, that's good there. All right, so I feel comfortable that I got all the sounds I want and enough space to just do like a half or a quick arrangement because I'm a little pressed for time. But, I would always encourage you to make the most out of your time with this workflow because you can definitely get it. I'm pretty confident I can do a whole arrangement here, but the point of this is just, hey, let's get a half arrangement out of here and I show you what that looks like. And when I say half arrangement, I'm talking you have the intro and then the main body of the groove in there. So when you come back to it, you're just worrying about the body and then the outro, which is basically an inverse of what we're about to do. You'll see what I'm saying. Okay, so let's make sure we've saved. Machine, get in here. Let's enable all the instruments. And we need to drag and drop our MIDI pattern in here. Perfect. Let's make sure it's playing to plan. And it is. So that allows us to delete this. Gone. Perfect. And so now that we've done that, I'm going to expand this a bit. Come back. We're going to delete any of the drum programming clips that we don't need. I don't know why Machine does that. It just exports the whole thing, the whole MIDI pieces, whether there is MIDI information or not. So, and I know there was no MIDI information there. If I undo this, it's just got the kit name that I have in Machine. So that's why I know. And plus it doesn't line up with the 2 bars I programmed here, like for the clap. So that's why I can delete these with confidence. Right. So now we have all of the elements in here. So the next thing is to make sure everything is named accordingly. Just gonna call this freak sound. And the next thing you do is just make sure everything you've named in a track is reflected in the arrangement window of each of those clips. So name them by the track. I say I'm going to do 17 bars for the intro. I usually end up doing 32. But let's see. Let's see if, because it's just a straight groove track, let's see if we can jump right into things at 16 bars as opposed to 32. I just caught wind, like while we were messing around there, I heard that little loop because of the way it was playing. So let's do that. That's 8 bars. And then I'm thinking, let's drag over this beat break. Actually, because it's kind of beefy in a kick, I'm gonna bring that in after 8 bars. Just makes it something, it's more of a sound that sounds like it's a, like it's not an intro sound. It's not soft. It's a building sound. I like starting off with my close hat. So let's keep that. Claps. Let's introduce that after 4 bars. DJs always appreciate that clap being in there so they know where they are in the mix. At least I do. So maybe this beat break. I think this works. Yeah. Okay, so we're pretty much almost done our intro arrangement. And I can tell you right now, we're going to go to 32 bars for the drop. Just because it's a vibe, I'm feeling like it feels like all of this comes in a little too fast. Sure I did that right. I'm going to join these. And this is probably a good time to move this sound here. It's such a weird sound. I want it to start right on the 1. So, and maybe what we'll do is cut it here, because as I look at this here, it looks like some sort of event that happens that I'd want to have more at the drop, depending on how it comes off. Let's listen. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. We need that. We need that right at the drop. So let's leave that there. Doing a time check. I got a few more minutes. Okay. So let's continue with this. I'm going to do that sort of 1 bar, that little drop here. So all the elements are going to seemingly drop out right there and then come back in. I like doing shit like that. So this is the close hat coming back in at bar 17. And maybe we'll give it 4 bars before the drop. Here are the claps. We'll bring it back in here. So we got that. Where's, I want to see. Okay, so it's wide open. All right. And then we got this snare here where I think we can use it in the early part of the arrangement because it just sort of sits under the beat. Like, listen. You can bring it in and out. So I think we'll rock that for 4 bars and then it'll disappear and we'll bring it back later. But good for the intro, keeps it interesting. And here, I'm going to do that, my cheeky little, give you an open hat and bass line for like 4 beats. Yeah, I think that works. That sound is so weird. And then the drop right here. I mean, we won't have the ride cymbal right off of that drop, but let's just push that out. Jacked up snare, we'll introduce that 8 bars after. I just want 32 bars here. So where's that take us? 32, 65, right here. Half arrangement, that's all we want. Actually, I want to delay this open hat a bit. Let's delay it 1 bar. I like doing that. You hear a difference there. So from a mixdown perspective, might as well just do it now. I need to take down one of these. I think it'll be here. No, wrong one. This one. I need to take this down to create room for this open hat here on pad 3, just so it has some sort of distinction. Yeah. Let's just check the gain stage for that. Yeah, it could go up a little bit. And we'll boost it slightly up here. So that's better, right? So it just sounds like there's my open hat, you know, like, so we created room for it. And I like that little drop out. I'll probably do that later in the arrangement where the pick just falls out. Shit. Oh, that's why. I got this just needs a little bit of space here. Hold on. To make it a complete loop. Actually, I should take it from here. Do that. Do that. Paste that together there. So that should be so it all just flows nicely. I just grab all of those over there. I'll probably use some volume automation here. concentrate on this, on that weird sound. Oh, and that's what I wanted to do before I forget. I wanted to just put in that bass line thing here for a little bit. Right in the middle of the intro arrangement. I love doing shit like that. As you know. This way over here. And that would be like a vocal under there. Space. Here's our jacked up beaver snare. Oh, why is this like that? I had a stain all the way down. Because I just noticed our jacked up snare is not popping like it should. Yeah, and it's not popping like it should because it doesn't have the pull tech on it. And I had the sustain on the transient down for some reason. So let's just fix that now. Perfect. Okay, so I know the ride works. We're going to push that out. As we are here, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm saying, okay, I got to get off in a bit here. I listened to the snare. You got it pop in the right way now. So I'm just thinking to myself, okay, why don't we could just make that the whole loop that takes off after it plays for the first 8 bars, introducing the snare. So I'm thinking we do this. So just create some variations on that jacked up snare pattern. So I'm going to take this. We'll introduce this here, but we're going to go in here. And we'll remove that. We won't do that. We'll do this. We won't do that. There. That's what I mean. So we'll delete that. So it'll just be so we're gonna have this actually. Get rid of that. We could actually pull this forward a bit, have this repeat. It's a simple 2/4 snare, and then it moves a little bit here with this note. Just color that a little different. love doing stuff like this because then we can bring this back here. Um, go back to the simple 2 and 4. Jump here, jump back here. None of it super predictable. And then we're at our full blown snare. We're at a full blown snare pattern that we programmed originally in our 2-bar loop. So let's listen back to this whole thing because I think it'll sound pretty cool. So now that I've heard that, I'm thinking, let's do a variation on that full-blown pattern. So let's listen to it. Just need to throw something in between there. So let's listen to that. See how it falls out. It just needs to be a little bit earlier, but I like that. And I like that it's not, I can't, I'm tempted to put it right on this grid, but I don't want to do that. I want it to sound natural. That works for me. Let's just color this, that. You've seen me do this before. If you're familiar with the stream for some time now. Then we just mess around with stuff until we get like this full. We got a full loop here, 16 bars of just jacked out, varying snare patterns that no one could predict necessarily, but it all just sounds funky. Let's listen to this. And yeah, after hearing that, I feel very comfortable. I can come back to this, move back to that, come here, and do this right here. Oh, no. It all just doesn't sound the same. It's and predictable, right? It's just a completely different vibe. All right, so let's play this out, and then I gotta bounce. Yeah. All right, cool. So there you have it. We went through a review of a sketch, flipped it, created a whole new sketch, added the right pieces to it, and then decided to move into another beat that I worked on and decided, okay, let's get a little half arrangement here. And we mixed as we went along to help speed the process up. So, we're pretty much ready to bang these 2 songs out as new tracks to either shop for demos or releases. So I'm going to leave you with that one. Hope you picked up some meaty pieces and lessons here. I know there's a number of cool mixing techniques and that articulate plugin. Get that on your beat break, widen and fatten everything up. All right, so I'll leave you with that. Much love. Peace.